And so, you said that the most important thing before you even consider fasting, before you consider the breathing technique, before you consider any of these healing, thousands of different healing modalities, before you can even consider that, you have to get your mind right. That's the most important thing. Because if you don't start dealing with this cognitive dissonance and you start jumping into these things, you are going to go straight down the knowledge hole because you are on a program that tells you that you are not enough, that you don't know, that you were born stupid, that you have to learn, that you're not enough. So if you don't get your mind straight and start trusting in yourself again, when you start on these like fasting journeys and stuff, you are going to get pulled in a million different directions. You are going to have, it's going to be hard. I think you're right, man. I think the first step for anybody would be to fucking
because when you go in now that you got the faculties of your mind back, you're aware, and now you go and you want to learn about fasting, or you want to go to a coach and like kind of see what they talk about on the breathing. Well, now you can pay attention on how that coach is coming about you. Is this coach coming from True Fact Reality? Is this coach, just trying to make a living? Is this coach trying to lead me into the right direction? So then you can find a guide, someone who can help you along on the road a little bit, but you're coming with reasoning and logic now, and you're coming with the awareness, which is huge because, I went into fasting and I went into it with a lot of ego. But when I went into it too, I was like, oh God, I'm so far behind. That's when I got opened up to the breath work, the energy healing, the fasting, the whole nother way of living. I was just like, well, damn, it's going to take me 10 years before I know how to do all this correctly. Because there's just so much knowledge. There's so much and it's like, no.
Now you can laugh and it's a joke, but like it's overwhelming when you're at the beginning there.
My dad seen me. I mean, I would be down here writing notebooks and just studying hours on the phone, and literally led me nowhere more than just what my experiences taught me. I mean, yes, learning some tips and tricks here, but I didn't need those tips and tricks. Like it was like my body naturally knew what to do, because all I was being taught with the breathing was like real fast breathing, this and that, but it just never suited me right. I was like, no, my body feels like it needs more calm. It needs to get out of that stress state. It needs to get out of that fight or flight. It needs to get out of that, that shallow breathing. And so.
And like you said, that is so important because before you go and you find a teacher or you put your trust in somebody, you have to fucking reclaim your authority first. Because, guys, you got to understand, he just talking about breathing techniques. These guys are literally teaching people. Like they look at people who aren't in their classes as, oh, you don't know how to breathe yet. And it's like unbelievable. And there's thousands of healing modalities, and we have these people that establish themselves in along our paths of life in this 3D realm, and they found, oh, breathing is an awesome thing. I can make a living telling people how to breathe. And they have good intentions and everything, but the problem is that they are now worshiping a modality. They have stopped their journey along the way, and they are worshiping modality, and they are now building that modality up as something to worship for other people. So they are idolizing, and they create an idol for other people to worship. Not only that, but they're building along the way. They're building their ego huge. They're making a name for themselves, money, everything else that's involved with that, status. And
your attention is completely away from being authentic.
So that's why it's so important. You guys got to reclaim the faculties of your mind prior to going out there and putting your trust in people. Because if you think, I'd like to learn some new breathing techniques, or I'd like to get into fasting, let me look at Thomas DeLauer or some cocksucker like that, you will be so fucking confused. These cocksuckers change what they say every 3 months. The science changes every 3 months. Brandon, when we first started 7 years ago, remember, I thought I had to have salt, I thought I had salt. I thought I had water. I thought, because I was following all these people. And what I should have done, like he said, is just followed by trust myself. So that's why it's so important, I think, this verse, because it enables you to pull your faith and belief back with your will. Pull your faith and belief back from all these outside sources, your authority back. Start trusting in yourself again. So that way you can start to sharpen yourself, and you're not such a gullible fuckface, with a dummy stamped on your forehead for all these spiritual fucking fucks to come out there and put their big fucking money dick in your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful, guys. There is nobody. You need fucking nobody. If you need anybody, it's the people around you. It's if you just happen to fall on our video, it's these little things. You just need, what you need is a confidence boost. What you need is, because you've surrounded,
support.
You need support. You need that safe space, right? Because you've surrounded yourself, and you got your hat on and your fucking gun. How are you going to heal like that? Yeah. No, you need to heal. You need to take your hat off and you put your gun down. And you take your boots off, put your feet up. Right? That's a safe space,
Yeah.
And you need those guys. You got to quit letting them hijack shit and to make you feel like something different than who you actually are. You already have the knowledge. You already know everything. All we're doing is we are deprogramming. We are taking all the thousands of programs that have been put on us, and, entities, AI, whatever else you're dealing with, demon, I don't care. But what we're doing is deprogramming and decluttering and getting them out through our faculty of reason. And then what we're left with is what we're going to work with, and then we're going to move on from there and act accordingly, Yeah, but man, it's so important. You got to get the mind back. People just think, I'm going to breathe my way to health. And that breathing thing is really neat because, like you said, you have found your own way. And I know you were really studying into that, the breathing stuff a couple years back especially, and I just had no fucking interest, because it just seemed like so much knowledge given to me. I'm like, it's just overwhelming. And you get into anything, you get into water, and there's like endless amounts of knowledge on water.
The water.
So so when I saw you getting into the trying to search the knowledge for the breathing, it was so overwhelming to me. But I knew it was important. I've always known it was important, but I'm like, I can't deal with all this superfluous shit. I just want to know, But and I guess being patient with it over the years, and you can go back and look at my videos. And what I started doing a year ago, I started breathing through my nose.
Yeah.
And so I learned my own breathing. I learned how to pace my own breathing. And it's as simple as that. We can all do it. We just have to sit with like as soon as we don't know anything, we want to run out and get the information, right? We want to do our due diligence. We want to run out and put in our physical.
Watch hours of videos.
Yes, but the thing and that's fine, because sometimes we got to do that just to get that energy out, and it's part of our journey, I guess. But what we really want to get to is this point where when we get that anxiety and we don't know anything, instead of running out and satisfying that dopamine hit, instead of running out and satisfying the anxiety, instead of running out and filling that knowledge bucket, right, we sit with it. And man, that is how we learn our power, because we realize, oh man, when I was feeling like this before, I would have paid anything. I would have went out there across the street and paid anything for a burger from Spelunkers to take this feeling away. So that cost me money, which now I'm missing money. So now I have to go back to work to make more money, right? So it keeps me trapped in a loop. Whereas when I sit with myself, not only do I work through these things, but I almost like take a step above where I was before, because I'm building on my resilience and my discipline and my trust in myself, Yeah. It's all about trusting ourselves. And like you said, you figured out through all that shit, you ended up fucking realizing, just gave it up and did your own breathing, and that's where you're at now. You do your own breathing. I do my own breathing.
It's one of those things, because you go for the search of knowledge, and there was that one part in all that search into breath work that was like, all you gotta do is breathe slow, try to get as minimal breaths per minute. And that was like that one niche. It wasn't even part of a course or nothing. It was just something someone was doing.
Yes.
And that's the only thing I ended up really needing from that.
And that is how I view everything. You go outside yourself for, you're going to get one little snippet, but there's going to be
that's how this whole journey's been. That's how this whole journey's been, because never got too stuck in one group for too long, you know, always looked into many different groups, a variety of groups. And yeah, it's literally taken a piece and piece and piece and piece.
Yeah.
Because you see, that's the thing, is like, that's how people have made business and all that, by just taking one part, one aspect of it, and separating it from the whole.
Yeah. They find their niche.
Yeah.
No, finding your niche is, like, in this 3D world, that is the way. If you want to get rich, you find a niche. You know, like my niche was roof repairs, you know, because nobody does roof repairs anymore, you know? So my niche is roof. I'll always have a 3D job. There's always going to be people wanting roof repairs done, you know? So finding a niche is awesome, but it's, you know, it's such a comfort thing, because, you know, then you're wanted, you know, because now you've established yourself as out of the ordinary, you know? And so, yeah, it's just wild, because once you establish that niche, now all your attention is on the ego, you know, for the niche, you know? Yeah, the nuance, you know? It's like, oh man, the devil's in the details, right? That's what they say, you know? And he really is, because that's where we get caught up in all these details, you know? Instead of just knowing and acting as such, we get caught up in details. Yeah. That's good. I don't even know if we've hit on what we've been trying to hit.